I let my girlfriend believe I'm making her ex's life hell. She has no idea I'm the one who got him dating again. When I started dating my girlfriend, I knew her ex-husband would be part of the package since they shared custody of their 2 kids. But I didn't know he'd show up to every exchange looking at her like she was the last woman on earth. He'd lean against his car waiting for her to notice his new haircut, or mention he'd been cooking her favorite lasagna recipe just in case she wanted to stay for dinner. Their 12-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter had started asking why daddy always looked so sad when mommy dropped them off. She tried having me handle the pickups, but her ex would stand in his doorway holding their wedding album while pretending to organize the bookshelf or wearing the cologne she bought him for their last anniversary. One time, their daughter forgot her science project, and when we went inside to get it, he was slow dancing alone in the kitchen to their wedding song. Then one day at their son's soccer tournament, he showed up wearing the matching jersey from when they used to coach together and tried to sit in our section. He brought her favorite coffee order without being asked and kept telling stories that started with, "Remember when we thought he'd never walk because he scooted everywhere on his butt for so long?" When their son scored the winning goal, her ex tried to hug my girlfriend, and she had to physically step behind me while he stood there with his arms still open, like maybe she just hadn't seen him. That night, their son asked if daddy was going to be okay because he'd found him crying in the bathroom at halftime, and their daughter said she didn't want birthday parties anymore because daddy always looked like he might cry when mommy laughed with someone else. The son then mentioned dad had been sleeping on the couch for weeks and sometimes forgot to make dinner and just stared at old videos on his phone while they did homework. I started covering for him without telling my girlfriend because the last thing those kids needed was to lose respect for their father on top of everything else. When he forgot his daughter's dance recital because he'd been drinking alone watching their wedding video, I told the kids he'd been there in the back but had to leave for an emergency work call. When he missed 3 Saturday pickups in a row because he couldn't get out of bed, I made up elaborate stories about secret missions he was planning for their birthdays while secretly leaving groceries on his porch so the kids would have food when they got there. The kids started noticing more things like dad not showering for days and the house getting messier and his car having dents he couldn't explain. During one particularly dark night, the son called me directly instead of his mom because he'd found his dad in the garage with the car running and didn't know what to do. I broke every speed limit getting there and found him passed out drunk with the garage door thankfully still open. When he woke up, he said, "I wasn't trying to do anything permanent. I just wanted to stop feeling everything for 5 minutes. Is that really so wrong to want?" I spent the night on his couch and told the kids their dad had food poisoning while I sat with him and said, "Listen to me. This pain you're feeling is temporary, but if you leave those kids now, they'll spend the rest of their lives destroyed and wondering why they weren't enough to make you stay." The next morning, while I was throwing empty bottles into trash bags and hiding the stack of goodbye letters he'd been writing and rewriting, he asked why I was helping him. I told him those kids deserved a father they could be proud of, and that wasn't going to happen if he kept treating his heartbreak like a terminal diagnosis. I realized he needed something to live for, besides hoping my girlfriend would come back. So when I noticed him actually make eye contact with his son's teacher during conferences, instead of scanning the room for my girlfriend, I jumped on it like our lives depended on it because maybe they did. I volunteered him for school events without asking, and told the kids their dad was organizing everything so they'd force him to follow through. The teacher had no idea she was saving someone just by laughing at his terrible math jokes and asking about his weekend plans. Then, out of nowhere, he met someone else entirely at a bookstore while buying comics for his son, and she was going through her own messy divorce and understood why he sometimes went quiet mid-sentence when certain songs came on. Things shifted completely when he showed up to his daughter's birthday party with this new woman, and instead of hovering near my girlfriend, he was teaching his date how to make balloon animals for the kids. When my girlfriend went to light the candles, her ex was busy showing his date a video of their son's science fair project and actually laughing at something she said instead of monitoring his ex-wife's every breath. Later that night, he pulled me aside. "I know what you did," he said. "The garage that night and all the times you kept me going when I couldn't see any point in trying anymore." When we were leaving, their daughter hugged her dad and whispered that she was glad he wasn't sad anymore, and their son added, "Dad's girlfriend is actually pretty cool because she knows about rockets, unlike mom's boyfriend who just does taxes, which is basically advanced math homework nobody wants to do." For the first time in 8 months, he looked like an actual living person instead of a ghost haunting his own life.